How to Shoot a Bow, Your Step-by-Step Guide to Shooting a Bow, written by HowExpert Press, narrated by Tom Zadoyko. Chapter 1. Introduction. Instinctive archery, barebow archery, is one of the oldest skills that we have, and learning it is much more than simply taking part in a sport and acquiring knowledge. Since the dawn of the human race, there has always been the bow and arrow, and in a way, you could even describe it as one of the first things to set us apart from the animals. However, barebow archery is not about learning to shoot a firearm. When you shoot bare bow, you call on something inside of you that can calculate angles and geometry far more accurately than the conscious mind. I have personally shot a Throw Aspirin tablet from the air at 30 yards, and while I am also well known as a marksman, a similar feat with a gun could not be performed. The reason, I believe, is that while calculating the trajectory of the arrow, the descent of the tiny pill, the angle of the throw would be impossible, the subconscious seems to have something already running inside each of us, just waiting for this exact scenario. A thrown apple, a diving pigeon, these things should be effectively impossible to hit with a bow. But if you follow the methods I will explain, you will see this is completely achievable. If you are considering barebow archery after already being a target archer, you are going to be unhappy. Trust me, as I started as a target archer. And what I learned from barebow archery has shown me that all I had learned from target archery was largely useless. I worked my way through the target scene, winning awards, improving, and everyone was in anticipation of what I would do after I had put in a few more years of practice. I was even entered in the Olympics in the compound limited division. Then I went to practice, and my father decided he would join me. I knew from the past that he did not use a sight, stabilizers, or any of the refinements I had, but rather went for a longbow and wood arrow. So there we were in the field where my normal routine would be to set up my target at 100 meters and start to sight in on the gold. It would generally take me at least 24 arrows to start hitting golds, if I was lucky. Now you should know my father had run off to live in the wild for a year when he was younger, and had fed himself by hunting for his food. Like most sons, I had a fairly good idea that a lot of his stories were far-fetched. So imagine my surprise when on his first shot he hits the gold. Then again. Then splits his first arrow. This was at 100 meters with a stick for a bow, and his technique seemed to involve what looked like a quick draw from the Wild West. What I learned on that day was that not only could someone with a bent stick pick a diving pigeon from the air at will, but that even in a head-to-head competition against a target archer, they could hold their own.